Well, there are many, they both have advantages and disadvantages. But to summarize, is this, and I mentioned it earlier when I was opening, to say that if you find impact investors, then there's less pressure. Because the banks or debt, yeah, they're very specific on when you must start repaying, and you must repay it within that period. So debt has a lot of pressure when you are starting. Because remember, the cost of debt in this market today is in excess of 14%. In excess of 14%. And to attract it, there's a lot of work that you must have done. Because most banks do not fund ideas. They fund things that they see. Two is that almost all banks will ask for collateral. Right? Now you, who is a student or who is a doctor, just beginning doctor, you do not have to hand. And the banks are asking for collateral, so what do you give? Yeah? It has its space. Not that debt is bad, it's not bad, it has its space. The issue is timing. When do you bring in debt? Because if you want more debt, then the bank must be willing to trust that you already put in something, because they come to support you. Remember, the banks don't come to get you out of poverty. That is not their space. Yeah? They first of all will classify you as a very risky person to even try to give money to. They are very, you see, the bank, the design of the bank is really not, by nature, banks are not there to fund businesses, to fund startups, yeah, for that matter. Because your risk profile as a startup is really too high for the bank to even risk giving you money. So they ask you so many questions. Have you ever wondered why, if you are employed, the bank will give you a loan faster than when you are an entrepreneur? Because look at it this way: you are an entrepreneur, you have more potential than an employed person. If only the banks knew that you, as an entrepreneur, you have more potential to generate and even repay this bank better or by far more than this person who is employed. But they'll give me a loan today. If I want a loan of 5 million, and they only ask for 3 payslips for my last 3 months. They just ask the bank, the HR, to guarantee that actually I must have there. And they give me money. But you, who comes with a business plan, my friend, will struggle. Because banks by nature are not designed to support startups. They come to support people that already have something that they can hold on to. So they'll ask you for a title deed. They'll ask you for your cars. They'll ask you for things that should you fail to repay, then they can recover their money. Right? But if you can get an investor and agree and say, look, for 10% or 20%, give me 100 million shillings. Yeah? So there's the possibility of sharing the risk with this investor. Right? So starting, it's easier when if you can attract an investor, fine. I think I would suggest that other than debt when you start. But when you mature, then of course you bring in debt because there's something they can hold on to. Right? The third question, is it the second? The second question was about what?
Which point do you know that it's not one?
At which point do you know that? Well, this is a very interesting question because I don't know. In the finance space, there are a lot of benchmarks, a lot of metrics. People say, look, it takes 10 years to break even. It takes 7 years, 20 years to break even. Well, we also know that there are companies that are broken even earlier. We also know that there are companies that because we live in a, now we live in a technology era, and things have blown up outside the people's expectations. A company like Zoom, for example, we know what happened to Zoom. Zoom was a business idea that was just sitting. Yeah, the founders didn't even know that one point in time it will be a big business. Then an opportunity struck, and everybody was now using Zoom. You know, so imagine if Zoom people had given up. Yeah, what would have happened? They won't have a Zoom today. You know, so I think it's a mixture of many things. There's a mixture of luck. There's an issue of opportunity. There's an issue of resilience, right? But of course, guided by statistics. Yeah. So if you are in the right market, some of these things will work for you, and your statistics will guide, because you'll be able to project, right? When will I break even? So that if you want to break even in 5 years, the first 3 years will give you an indication, yeah, of when you are likely to be in business. Yeah, if it's not working, your numbers will tell you, but for sure there is no definite timelines to businesses being sustainable. It's a combination of many factors: opportunity, luck, and so many things. If you are in the right market, you break even faster. You'll make your money, you might exit. If you are in a bad market, and that's why in entrepreneurship we are taught about scanning the environment, because there's what you have to do first before you decide, I want now to set the business here. Do I have market, right? Are you accessible to sufficient market? We talked about where to set up, right? Do you have that market? Can you see it? Do you have infrastructure to support the delivery of goods and services? Yes, therefore there's a combination. Do you have the right management? Do you have money? She mentioned about working capital. Do you have money? Because you almost expect that in the first few years you will not have cash. You've seen tech companies closing shop in this market, right? Not long ago, the last maybe 1 year, I think 3 or 4 companies have closed shop, because the business plan initially looked good. They went and raised funds. They did the second raising, third raising, fourth raising. But then there's a point where even whoever is giving you money decide, no, I'm not giving you any more money. Then you close shop. You know? Yeah. So there are many. It's a combination of many factors that actually can guide. But of course, guided by statistics. Your question was about which business model to adopt. Yeah. Franchising is a good idea, and why I would support franchising is exactly what you say, that starting a business is hard. Starting a healthcare business is even harder, because 90% of your patients will be insurance patients, right? And that is the reality. 80 to 90% will be paid for by insurance. It will not be out of pocket. To onboard that insurance is not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things for upstarting healthcare facilities. Because you want Madison, you want Jubilee, you want Minet, you want all those people into your panel. Onboarding one will take you maybe 6 months, because there are kickbacks you have to give. There are so many things you have to do. I mean, they come and assess and tell you are not ready. They tell you now we're actually not onboarding any facility, and yet you have a hospital or a clinic. And the insurance says you are now, and yet actually there's demand. Patients want to come, but now you have not onboarded them. In fact, what I've seen work in some of these facilities, that the pressure from patients is what is actually even helping people to onboard insurances. Because someone is like, no, me, I want to go to this hospital. I have a cover with you. Please make sure I go to this hospital. Then they'll badge, you know, and they'll badge and actually now support you. But if you just go alone, I know a doctor who started a facility, and to date, I think she's only managed to get 2 or 3 insurances, and that has been maybe over 6 years. You know, one, because someone just decides, someone decides, no, we're not onboarding insurance or other facilities. You know, and yet they're actually giving facilities they're giving insurances to other facilities. You know, yeah. So the market is already skewed against you. Well, they have the patients, but they are not willing to support you. So if you can then join a franchise that has already onboarded, you know, so then you just come in as a branch, as an extension of already what is existing. So you don't have to go through the pain of asking for, please onboard me. You know, you will move into what already exists. I've seen it work. There's a brand in this market called what the name has disappeared. But how they've grown is just through franchising. So they open a branch, and of course with good advice, good lawyers, and because first really have good commercial lawyers, to advise, because otherwise somebody might decide, now this is my branch. You know, you don't want to get into those things. So with good commercial lawyers, they advise on how to share, how to draft the contracts. It's a very key part. Do not forget contracts. It's very, very important. So you have good commercial lawyers to draft the contracts for you, so that when you start this facility, you use the already existing goodwill. Yeah, so you go to the insurance, say, look, alright, so you extend and just copy paste. Say you've seen 20 insurances here, the same here. So, but of course it has its own intricacies, meaning that you have to have probably a similar system, you know, yeah, then the billings that is not different, yeah. But it will be a good place to start, because it's really difficult to start a facility by yourself. Yeah, you need a lot of work. Yeah.